Good evening, folks. 10 days ago, this channel turned 5 years old, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I thought I'd just mention that before we dig into tonight's event. It's also my birthday, so I'm pretty excited about that, and I'm spending it in the best way, alone in the woods, just with an open fire that you can probably hear here in the background. Firstly, I just want to mention, yes, I did have my hat on backwards. That's what happens when it gets dark and you get a little bit confused, but now it's the right way. So let's get into it now. The number one and the most important for me is that there is no bugs, none. Second thing, when you're making a fire like I did here, it's so much more cozy when you do it in the wintertime, and it's kind of chilly, but then you get to stay closer to the fire and warm yourself, and that's a really nice feeling as well. I think it's kind of nice because everything gets more silent as well with the snow, if you're lucky enough to have that where you are, and it's nice to just, everything just becomes peaceful and quiet. It's just a matter of what you need to be comfortable, and yeah, I got long johns, thicker socks, 2 layers of socks, obviously pants, 4 layers on my upper body, this wonderful hat here, these gloves with me, the winter gloves you've seen. Also have these ones for when I'm working, when I'm tending to the fire or something like that. This is the same sleeping bag that I used this summer for the adventure, the Singi 3-season long. Same thick sleeping pad, the Cedar Summits, and then I got a thermarest. The only difference now is that I got this here for the ground. I was supposed to sleep on the ground, but yeah, I decided to go with this instead. So you can use this to isolate from heat, and then this layer, and then this layer, and then of course this one. So yeah, it's all just a matter of what you need to do to stay comfortable. Another thing that people tend to talk about is that there's no other people out. That's one of the best things about being out now. You're completely alone. You don't need to like compete for campsites or anything. No one's out. You can do whatever you want, and you can really just enjoy peace and solitude with yourself and just have the best time. You get closer to nature, everything's more quiet, you can really listen to the animals and all those things, and yeah, I really like that. I know I mentioned this before when I've been out when it's colder. If you have a bottle like this, it needs to be a thicker bottle. It cannot be your average PET bottle, but you can boil water and you can pour it in here, and you can put this in a sock, and then you put this in your sleeping bag. It's a great way to stay warm. You put it close to your stomach, and then yeah, it will help you to stay nice and toasty when you're in the sleeping bag, if you feel cold when you go to sleep at night. One mistake that people tend to do when it's colder outside and they go to sleep is that they think they should have a lot of clothes on because that's how I stay warm. Yes and no. You should have some clothes on if you feel like that. Cover your feet if you need to do that, but let your body breathe as well. Let your body come in contact with the sleeping bag, because those two combined is the one that will keep everything warm. If you have too many layers on, you will not spread your heat, and it will just stay isolated within those layers. So it needs to come into the sleeping bag, so that's what will keep it warm, and that's what will isolate you. So not too much clothes on, but then you can always use, like, you can sleep with this. I also have this, let me put this one on for you. It's kind of fun. You can sleep with, I think this, oh, that was the wrong side. Let's do it again. You can have this one on. You can sleep with this, and you're pretty well covered as well. You can sleep with liner mittens. You can sleep with this and this if you want to do that. Another thing people tend to do is that they put their head inside the sleeping bag, and then you breathe all the moist air out into the sleeping bag. That's not a good thing either. So aim to the exit and breathe out from the sleeping bag so the air goes out. You do not want the air to be inside, not your warm breath at least, to be inside the sleeping bag, because you just end up getting wet, and then eventually it will get cold, so you don't want to do that. Another thing people tend to do is just like I'm doing right now. You sit in front of the fire, you don't move, like here is nice and warm, but your body is slowly getting colder because you're not moving anymore. So before you go to sleep, I recommend you do some sort of activity. You don't want to start to sweat, but you want to get warm. So when you are at your warmest, just before you start to sweat, that's when you go into the sleeping bag, and then you will breathe, or all that excess heat will just spread inside the sleeping bag. I was getting tired now, so I think I'm feeling pretty warm. I don't want to start to sweat like I mentioned before. So now it's time to get in the sleeping bag. Inside the sleeping bag I will also use this liner, the same that I used this summer. The only difference is really that I opened up the sleeping bag in the summer. I will not do that now. All right, so I'm halfway in it. I had this thick synthetic jacket on me before, underneath my shell jacket, but I'm also taking that off now. I'll use this as my pillow. I got a little pillowcase where I'll put everything in. Instead of bringing your pillow, just bring the pillowcase and stuff it with all your gear and stuff. Then it will be a pretty thick and nice pillow. Put on, I had thick socks. I have 2 layers on now. I don't know if you can tell there. And put these ones on. And then you want to make sure that you unpack your sleeping gear, or your sleeping bag at least, pretty quick when you arrive to your campsite for the night, so it gets the chance to puff up a little bit and get a lot of air in between you and the outside environment, because that isolation or that air that gets captured within the little pockets of the sleeping bag, that's the insulation that will keep you warm as well, or at least protect you from the cold. And of course, my last tip before you go to sleep, make sure that you go to the bathroom and pee and all those things. So you don't need to wake up and do that in the middle of the night. I'm sorry, it's not a tip, it's impossible. You will wake up. It's just life, just deal with it. But hurry back so you don't lose a lot of heat. Good times. All right, as you can tell, I took off the last layer before my base layer. So I'm pretty much sleeping in this. And I'm already feeling very warm, very nice, very comfortable. Of course, it will get colder, but all I need to do is zip up everything, close everything so you don't let any excess heat out, and make sure that I breathe out. Temps right now, 0 Celsius. That makes sense to anybody. Fahrenheit, I don't know, like 25. I have no idea about Fahrenheit, but I got an expert team that you can just check the comments and they will give you the exact specifics on the dot how many Fahrenheit 0 degrees Celsius is. So just check the comments and you'll be good. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
Good morning, folks. So yeah, that was that night. I had a really the best night's sleep that I've had in a long time. Surprisingly enough, I actually surprised myself a little bit there. I should probably follow my own tips a little bit more. A couple of things to think about when you go up and pee in the night, which you probably will do. I did. It's important to close your sleeping bag so you don't let the excess heat out too much. Another benefit of having so many layers is you can really adjust. I'm happy with everything that I have on me now. I was not cold or not too warm, not anything. It was a little bit warm when I went to sleep, but that's the plan. Now in the morning everything was perfect, because usually when you don't have enough or you didn't move before you went to sleep, it can tend to get a little bit cold in the morning. Oh yeah, one more thing that I wanted to add. Right now I'm wearing earplugs and I have my buff, so when I decide that, okay, it's time to sleep, I focus on sleeping. I don't focus on looking at stars or listening to animals or anything. It's just all about sleep. I don't care if anybody walks by or anything. It's just I need to sleep, and that's what I'm focusing on. I see a lot of people that don't use earplugs or buffs. Maybe you don't need it, then that's all good, but a lot of people that are scared or they listen to things and they're like, okay, something is coming. Don't worry about it. At least not in Sweden. I'm not going to mention for the rest of the world, but around here, it's just maybe a person, perhaps, or an animal, but they will not, most of the time, 99.999% of the time, they will not do anything. They're just curious, and that's it. So I would recommend that when you're out, focus on sleeping, not on anything else. I've never ever had a problem, and I've been in some pretty weird places, but yeah, I've been all good. So I'm doing that. Because to me, it's more important to sleep. And if something were to happen, I would probably eventually feel that. It's kind of a weird statement, I get that, but I hope you understand what I mean. That it's more important that you get the rest that you need than you stay up all night and being scared and listening after things. And if something should happen, just relax, sleep. It's all good. All right, let's get this day going. Another benefit of putting everything in your pillowcase is that all the clothes that you put on yourself in the morning, they're not freezing cold, which is a pretty nice thing. So now everything is, I mean, it's sleeping bag warm, but that's a nice feeling. I think that's all the tips and tricks I had for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how you guys do it, if you do anything different than I'm doing. And if you have any questions, you know what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you really enjoyed this video. It would be nice if you like, comment, subscribe, and all those things. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.